everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Glow Up Guide. So today's episode is all about sleep, and I get that sleep is not like the hottest topic or whatever, but it's one I felt like it's pretty important and I should talk about. Honestly, if you're facing like health problems and are wondering why, it's probably due to a lack of sleep. Because my mom had like a fever a few days ago, and it was like purely from a lack of sleep. So yeah, that might be something to consider. Sleep cures legit everything, and so that's why I want to talk about it, and that's why the name of this episode is Sleep of a Cure. Plus, I didn't really have an idea for what to write and talk about that this week. And sleep is like so important for your looks and mental health. It prevents cancer and dementia. It improves your memory. It manages your weight, and so much more. So I know we're talking about sleep, but I swear I'm not going to put you to sleep by talking about sleep. So people are all, well, is sleep really that important? Yes, it is, because a lack of sleep is probably the reason why my voice sounds like this right now. And it was fine like a couple hours ago, but still, I'm like really tired right now. So yeah, and like yesterday night, it was like 12 a.m. and I like half slept. I don't even think I slept until 1. Actually, I didn't check the time, but yeah. And then what happened after that? It was 6 a.m. when I woke up, and I was like, how the hell is it 6 a.m.? Like, how the fuck did I wake up at 6 a.m.? And I'm like, oh my god, that's kind of crazy. So yeah, that's fun. Interesting times. So yeah, that was great. I'm still really tired. Yeah, it's all part of like trying to fix the back to school sleep schedule, I guess. So it's going great. Anyway, so quick note. I'm not a doctor. I will never be a doctor. So none of this stuff is like actual doctor advice, although I do use some like Healthline articles and shit to research topics. So anyway, going back to the main topic. Yeah. So let's do our podcast update. So it's a Monday. It's like Monday evening, and I'm recording and publishing on Monday evening because I kind of had like a hellish weekend. It wasn't like bad, but it was just kind of chaotic. So that's fun. That's probably the reason why I'm tired. I don't know why I couldn't sleep though. If I was tired, I should have been able to sleep, but it's not that big of a deal. Happens all the time, so meh. That just doesn't matter. But yeah, hellish weekend. So we're publishing on a Monday, and I hit 400 plays as of some days ago. I don't really remember. I'm at 402 as of like right now. So that's another big milestone. For me at least, even though it's been over a year. Not gonna lie, I was hoping I would have been way farther with this in a year, but I mean, it is what it is. So, yeah, it's just gonna take some time. Can't really think right now. It's gonna take some time, I guess. So, life updates. All of this is the week was just like bland and boring, and then like the weekend, like the past weekend, has been crazy, and that's why I'm publishing on a Monday. So on Saturday, there was like this housewarming party, and me and my dad went, and my brother had a class, so my mom had to stay and like walk him to his class and be there for that and stuff. So yeah, that was fun. The housewarming was for like someone, like one of my dad's friends, I guess, friends with their kids. So yeah, and it was nice. I saw some like old friends that I didn't see in a while, so that was nice. But other than that, it kind of sucked because I had to wear like an annoying dress, and it was really hot outside, and I was just like sweating the whole time, and I was freaking out about sweating, which only made it worse. So yeah, and it was really warm. So that too, and I didn't have to stay for super long. I think I only stayed like 2 hours because I had a volunteering shift. It was the final one for the summer. I'm probably gonna do something during the school year too, but yeah, I don't really know. Yeah, that was just that. Some people came in and told us that we had to like move everything and helped us move everything to another corner of the library, like in the middle of me and my friend's shift, because they were like setting something up, but it was like for the local animal shelter or something, so that was cool. Um, what else happened? Okay, so like on Sunday, not Sunday. This was like Friday or something. Yeah, this is like the only thing that I did during any weekday. So, we went to Walmart and me, my dad, and my brother, and we finished like all our back to school supply shopping. And I got a new backpack because apparently I needed one. I think my other backpack's perfectly fine, but it was either that or I had to use a really ugly backpack. So getting a new one it is. It's like this weird, super pale, like green cream color. I don't really know. I feel like when I explain it, it sounds really bad, but it's actually like a really cute and pretty color. So that's nice. But yeah, I don't really know how to explain the colors, so it's gonna be like that. But it's really cute, and it's like a sturdy backpack. So I think I'll be fine for the year as long as I take better care of it because I have a tendency to be reckless with things and completely destroy them. So that's fun. Probably explains all the paint stains on my desk. I just have that about me. Yeah. Might have been the reason I've destroyed 2 laptops in my lifetime too, but oopsie daisies. So, yeah, we finished our back to school shopping. And then Sunday. Okay, so Sunday, there was like this thank you party. It was like a small thing. It was just like tie dye and cupcakes and like hang out, you know. And there was like this video game thing set up. I don't really get it. I think it was like Mario Kart or something. I don't know shit about video games, so that's fun. And yeah, it was just like a chill time. The friend that I volunteered with didn't come, but there was like this other girl who I knew from um one of my classes during 7th grade, so I talked to her for a bit, and then I was kind of alone, but oh well. It was still, like, good, and the cupcakes were good, too. The frosting tasted like chocolate ice cream. I don't really know, that was random, but it was, like, good. And then after that, we came home because I had to get some stuff, and apparently my dad and brother went to the pool during that time, and then, we went shopping, me, my dad, and my brother, again, because my mom was, like, recovering from her sickness bout. So yeah, and we went to Old Navy, and I bought because we had like this coupon thing. So yeah, it was like 20 off $50. So I bought some clothes. I got like a pair of like really cute black jeans. I actually got a pair of like black jeans that are not like pure black, but they're like grayish. I think it's called like a black wash. So I got like these black wash jeans from Shein, but they literally look gray and like they don't even look that good on me. But like the ones from Old Navy, they look so much better on me, even though they're like exactly the same style and measurements, and like the color is a bit more blackish gray, and the quality is so much better too. It feels like so much more comfortable, and it looks better with the tops that I was thinking to wear the jeans with. And yeah, and then I got like these 2 fitted tops. One of them's like this slate gray sort of thing, slate charcoaly. I don't really know how to explain it, gray. And then the other one's like this burnt coppery pink-ish color. Don't really know how to explain that either, but those are really cute. So yeah, and then my brother got a ton of clothes because apparently he has no pants that fit him. So that's cool because he needs pants for the school year. So that's gonna be fun. And then after that, they were running like some deal through the whole summer at like Chuck E. Cheese. For those of you who are in foreign countries, it's like an arcade thing. But yeah, so he was like, we should go there because we were already in the place where like the Chuck E. Cheese was for the Old Navy. So yeah, that was fun. We went there too, and we got like 1 hour unlimited passes and I was just like, you know what? Why the heck not? Because it's honestly not even that bad. Arcade games are fun, and like yeah, it was a good time. And then we left, and I was really tired. um, so yeah, my brother like almost fell asleep on the car drive back. It was like a 10-minute car drive, so yeah. But that was fun. Um, yeah, I think my mom and brother are screaming downstairs. I feel like I just heard them, so I'm really sorry if you heard that. I need to get like a better space to record, but I can't. And I can't get the people in my house to shut up, so that's gonna be fun. Let's see. Okay, so that was like a really long introduction. I feel like I kept going like, yeah. So, anyway, before moving on, let's do one thing we're grateful for and one thing we're happy about, plus heart book of the week. So, one thing I'm grateful for, probably like, I don't know, it's gonna rain soon, and that's like what I'm grateful for, the fact that it's gonna rain soon. And what I'm happy about, I was gonna say rain soon, but I already said that for grateful, so one thing I'm happy about is the fact that we might be going on a trip actually. Very end of August / very beginning of September, Labor Day weekend. We might be going to North Carolina for my dad's like thingy-majiggy, and then we're just gonna be there too, and like we're gonna do our own thing. And my dad does this like this thingamajiggy, and then yeah. and then that's like for one half of the day, and the other half of the day we can all do stuff. So if we go, I think that's gonna be super fun. And if we don't end up going and it's just my dad, it's like, oh well, because it's a lot of freaking out. Like a 2-night, 3-day trip doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but my mom makes it seem like really big of a deal, and then everyone in my house just starts freaking out, and I naturally freak out over like trip relevant stuff because we don't go on like overnight trips very often, so it's kind of like a big deal when we do, and there's always a lot of shit to plan. So that's always fun. But yeah, that's one thing I'm happy about. And then our book of the week. Let me get it really quick. It's This Girl by Colleen Hoover. This is like the third book in the Slam series. It's an amazing series. I think I've mentioned the first 2 books on this podcast. But yeah, this is an amazing series, honestly. I love it. It's like, let's see, what does the back say? So Lakin and Will's love has managed to withstand the toughest of circumstances, and for the young lovers now married are beginning to feel safe and secured in their union. As much as Lakin relishes their new life together, she finds herself wanting to know everything there is to know about her husband, even though Will makes it clear he prefers to keep the painful memories of his past where they belong. So he can't resist his wife's plea, so he begins to untangle his side of the story, revealing for the first time his most intimate feelings and thoughts, retelling both the good and the bad moments, and sharing a few shocking confessions of his own from the time they first met. So, yeah, this is from Will's point of view. I think the other 2 books are from Lakin's point of view, but it's a really good book, and it's so sweet, and I love it. Yeah. So that was really good. I don't really know how to put it. I love like all her Colleen Hoover books. They're really good. She's like one of my favorite authors. So yeah, definitely like check out some of her other books. I think I've read almost all of her books. There's a few more I haven't read, but yeah, there's a lot of good ones. So definitely go check those out. Okay, so getting back on track with our actual topic, which is sleep. I used to hate going to sleep, but I was young and like I still am. I'm 13. And I think every kid hates like sleeping until they get to like middle school or some point in their lives, and they start having to stay up late to finish work and being like, I swear to God, the first thing I'm doing when I get home is taking a nap. I don't know, it's just like a sudden revelation you have in life. For me, it was like after the first day of school, I was just so tired. I went home and took a nap. That is like a once in a lifetime thing for me, like going home and taking a nap. That like never happens. So it's kind of crazy. But yeah, that was like my revelation when I'm just like, I want to sleep. At the time, like I started to actually appreciate sleep. So yeah. I used to always complain about going to sleep and I hated it. Like when I was 3, my mom would always put me down for a nap, and then I was just like stare at the wall for an hour and start yelling that I wasn't that yelling. And then my mom would walk in and be like, "You're still not asleep yet, seriously." So like I really took naps as a toddler. But yeah, that's it. And then as I got older, I have no idea what happened, but like my sleeping schedules were really messed up, like really bad for a 9-year-old. 9/10-year-old. I started like being able to sleep and not dreading it as much because life things happens to everyone. But most nights it would take me 2 or more hours to fall asleep, and it's actually considered really bad if it takes you over 20 minutes to fall asleep. I learned this like a month ago. But like I know that I didn't have like insomnia or some crap. There were like all nighters at least once a week simply because I couldn't fall asleep. So that was not good. Thinking about my sleep schedule, like yeah, thinking about my sleep schedule back then, I'm not sure how I'm like still functioning after how I'm still functioning now and how I functioned after all that mess. But it was really bad, and I didn't tell my parents about it because then they would have been like, "You're probably just falling asleep and waking up in the middle of the night and saying you didn't fall asleep." Like, no, I think I know what I'm doing. And like my parents aren't bad parents. I'm not saying that to like make anyone think that way, but and like it's just a thing. It's just like one of those things that's like impossible. They think is impossible to happen to kids. And having like severe sleep issues. And in general, I would go to bed around like 11 or 12 most nights. No clue why. And I would have to wake up at 7 a.m. for like school, or I have online school because of COVID. And then once I moved when I was 11 and a half, my mom was like, we moved here hoping for a better life. So, but a better life also starts from within yourself. So she started like fixing our schedules and made us eat rice minimum once a day because I'm Indian, and yeah. And that like made me gain some weight. So she made me and my brother fix our crap health basically in general, and that was also around the same time I started to cut out like sugar and processed foods. Main year is my mom started getting like super duper adamant about our sleeping habits, and over time, it took me way less time to fall asleep and like no more all nighters. We don't count last night because that wasn't really an all nighter. I think I fell asleep for a couple hours in between, and yeah, there's only been and since I moved, there's only been like one all nighter because I couldn't sleep, only one in 3 whole years. And I grew to appreciate sleep more once I got to middle school, as I said, and also once I started soccer. And now it only takes me about 30 minutes to an hour to fall asleep. I mean, it's still not that great, but it's so much of an improvement that it's like a minor detail. And also, no more all nighters, which is also amazing because all nighters happening once a week is like, no, not good at all. That should not be happening. So yeah, now I love my sleep. And me and one of my friends at camp were talking to one of the counselor, and she started talking to us about like school, and she mentioned if there's one thing she misses from like before high school, it's sleep. So now I'm even more appreciative of my sleep, and I want to help you all know like how to utilize sleep to live a better and healthier life. Sleep really is like the cure for everything. So I wanted to start about talking about the things that prevent you from getting a good sleep, because most of these things are probably the reason you don't get enough or good quality, like enough quantity or good quality of sleep. First and biggest one is screens too close to bed. This modern time is all about technology. Like I saw an ad the other day for an AI dating app, basically like AI boyfriend or girlfriend. It's so stupid. Like what the frick? But like technology is taking over. Like I swear to God, by the time I go to college, all the professors could be robots. I'm kind of scared about that, but whoop-de-doo. Unpopular opinion, but I hate how much technology is becoming a part of everyday life. And technology is a huge part of people's lives, even for little kids. I think we I think we can all agree that 7-year-olds should be playing outside and hanging out with their friends, not playing video games and constantly being on technology, which wrecks their brains. Because they're only 7, you know? And, like, even kids younger than that, like, even kids that are 3, 4 years old, it wrecks their brains even more because they're not even 5 yet. Another story, but yeah. Screens are pretty dang hard to avoid. Regardless, screens emit blue light, and blue light makes your brain like tricked into thinking that it's daytime and that you need to be awake. And the blue light also suppresses melatonin production, which is the hormone necessary for sleep. And without melatonin, it's practically impossible to fall asleep. Avoiding screens 30 minutes to 1 hour before bedtime can allow your brain to produce melatonin. And honestly, most of the time, people just scroll through social media on their phones before bed, and social media is like toxic. So you sleep with like a happy mind too by avoiding screens an hour or so before bed. Might be tempting to go on your phone before bed, but just think about how much better it would be if you read a book or did some yoga instead. Which brings me to my next tip. To avoid screens in that hour before bed, schedule things that don't have to do with screens. Take that time to read or journal or meditate or practice some yoga, or maybe that can be your self-care time if you never had time for that during the day, or just for like relaxing things that like maybe habits you want to try. Well, technically the things I just mentioned could be habits you want to develop, but figure things out that don't involve a screen or anything that emits blue light, blah blah. So if you schedule that time away from screens, it'll be easier to forget about like checking that notification and going into it and just scrolling up. Another thing you can try is putting your phone in do not disturb mode. So I used to do this when I had phone, and my mom also does this. But most of the time, the reason you get pulled into a scrolling dump is because you intended to just check that one notification you got, but before you know it, it's already been like a whole hour. So disabling notifications gives you a lower chance that you'll actually go on the phone. You could also just ban all technology from your bedroom. If you don't see the phone or TV, you probably won't think about it, and you'll be able to focus on sleep or whatever activity you were trying to do. By the way, don't have a TV in your room. That's the worst. It can prevent like you from doing other tasks too, because reaching for the remote and watching TV seems so much easier than washing the windows or writing that email or writing something or whatever that you were supposed to do. So yeah, avoid all technology in your bedroom. Just don't go on screens for an hour before bed, and however you're successful, at least it works for you. My second biggest one is caffeine. I'm only 13, so like I try to avoid caffeine whenever possible because caffeine isn't good for young brains. And also, the only time I will ever consume caffeine is like sodas, and half the time those don't even have caffeine. But yeah, but caffeine is a problem for a lot of people. Most people who are coffee drinkers have multiple cups of coffee a day, which shows up to a lot of caffeine and money and sugar. Money, especially if you're going and buying it from like Starbucks or somewhere. Anyway, caffeine and sleep are connected because caffeine blocks adenosine receptors in your brain, which are necessary for promoting sleep. The structure of caffeine is actually pretty similar to adenosine, which clings on to those receptors, but since it's not adenosine, your body can't get you to sleep. Adenosine builds up in the bloodstream when you're awake, and your body clears it away while you sleep. But you should try to avoid caffeine 8 or so hours before going to bed. If you're super sensitive to the effects of caffeine, then you should try to avoid it 10 to 12 hours or so before bedtime. Caffeine also reduces the total amount of REM sleep you get, which is like the deep sleep stage, so it's super duper important. We'll go over sleep stages later, but yeah, if you're craving a cup of coffee late in the day, then maybe go for some decaf or like decaffeinated tea instead or something like that. Something to replace it. So number 3, something else you guys might complain about. Try to avoid any sort of like homework or work or mentally stimulating stuff about 2 hours before bed. Some people might be like, well, that's 2 hours wasted in a day when I could be doing work. You probably do a whole bunch of pointless procrastination that's it's like making you spend the time before bed doing that work instead. So no like mentally taxing crap 2 hours before bed. This gives your brain time to rest and process the day and like relax you for sleep. When your brain is stimulated, your brain can't like stop working basically, so you can't fall asleep. So try to avoid any sort of work that awakens your brain before bed to get like better sleep. Yeah. Number 4, avoid working in the same area you sleep in. Once again, something you guys will probably complain a bunch about, but studies show that when you're working in the same area that you sleep in, your brain is going to think of work when you're trying to fall asleep, and that awakens your brain, and that's just like and it just makes it way harder to like fall asleep. It's even linked to like worse anxiety too. So like once again, I'm not a doctor. That's just what some studies show. I used to do a lot of my podcast work and homework in my bed. So when I woke up every morning, some of my first thoughts were actually about the work I did or didn't do, and that wasn't a great way to start the day. So try to do your work at the desk or anywhere else besides your bed. I started doing this and found it easier to fall asleep because my brain wasn't associating my bed with work as much. So like learn from me, people. Heck, if you can, try to do your work in a different room entirely. Sometimes it's fun to study at the library or the park or a coffee shop because why not? Avoid working in your sleeping space as much as you can. Number 5, inconsistent sleeping schedule. Okay, so the number one issue that's really preventing good sleep is that most people only wake up early for work or school and sleep in whenever they can. Like they only wake up early and on time or whatever when they have to. That's not good. So having a consistent sleep schedule sets and keeps your circadian rhythm in check. When you wake up earlier, you feel tired earlier, and that's because of your circadian rhythm. But when you wake up early and go to bed early one day and then wake up at 12 p.m. the next morning, then there's your circadian rhythm way off whack. And that makes falling asleep way harder. It's a major problem for me as well. I'm working to fix it. But yeah, try to get it to a more consistent schedule to make sleep easier. Having a really bad, inconsistent schedule can even result in like your life being shortened apparently by a few years, which really says a lot about how consistency is the key. So yeah, even if it's hard, try to wake up and go to bed at the same time, weekends and holidays included. But remember, as with like any habit you're trying to develop, don't be like too harsh on yourself about it. Number 6, eating heavy foods too close to bed. The 3-2-1 rule says no heavy foods 3 hours before bed, no more mentally taxing work 2 hours before bed, and no more screens an hour before bed. Eating heavy foods too close to bedtime can also reduce the amount of deep sleep you get and can also lead to a higher chance of waking up throughout the night, which makes you groggy in the morning. I can say that's true from experience. So eating too close to bedtime can also mess up your circadian rhythm, which is no fun. But don't ever go to bed hungry either. If you're hungry, just eat a small snack, maybe some cherries, which are great for melatonin, or some yogurt. Small snacks. Perhaps a banana, that also works. Number 7, not getting enough exercise. This is a huge one for me. Exercising regularly helps regulate your circadian rhythm and is also important for so many other reasons. Listen to my episode on working out for more on that. But exercise is really important for your circadian rhythm, and you want to make sure to avoid exercise within 2 hours of bedtime, as exercising too close to bed can make you feel awake and you won't fall asleep easily. Exercising regulates the release of some hormones that boost your circadian rhythm. So even a quick workout for busy people can make a huge impact. Number 8, taking naps during the day. You might think that taking a nap during the day can help you catch up on lost sleep, but taking naps during the day is actually the easiest way to totally wreck your sleep-wake cycle and make falling asleep at night so much harder. So try your absolute best to avoid taking naps during the day, unless you're jet lagged or something. That's probably like the only exception I would give. But if you do need a quick nap, try to keep it about 30 minutes or less, preferably like 15 to 20 minutes. I don't even know if that counts as a nap though. Or just try to avoid it altogether if you can. Just be like power through, you know. So that was all I had to say on some stuff that can like really mess up your sleep schedule. But what are some things that can actually help your sleep? Let's find out. So my first one is having a comfortable sleeping environment. Some lights have like a dimmer thingy, like to make it's like a thingamajig and you can like drag it down or whatever. And the lights will get like dimmer. But yeah. So try and make use of that in the hours before bedtime. Otherwise, try getting like warm white twinkle lights or lamps for the hours before bed. You want to make sure that when you're actually sleeping, the room is super dark though. Unless like super duper dark spaces give you anxiety. They used to do that for me. Darkness promotes melatonin production, so the darker the better. Keep the temperature in the room temperature in check too. Impossible for me because it's summer and my room is the hottest room in the house, especially when it's summer, even with the AC on. And it's annoying because I keep going to sleep at 12 because I can't fall asleep because of how hot it is in my room. It's like so annoying. So a good temperature is usually anywhere from like 68 to 75 degrees or Fahrenheit or 20 to 24 degrees Celsius. Keep it at a comfortable but preferably on the cooler side temperature. Number 2, certain supplements can help promote sleep and provide a whole ton of benefits. Obviously, melatonin is the first choice and can help with some sleep disorders too. Some of the options are magnesium, zinc, omega-3, and nitrate. Taking supplements can boost you, especially for those with any sort of deficiency. Just make sure they're good quality and you don't overuse them or use more than one at a time, unless they're like multivitamin supplements. Be cautious with any sort of supplements though. Number 3, eating tart cherries. Cherries are rich with melatonin, tryptophan, I think that's how you say it, potassium, and serotonin, all of which are good for making sleep come easier. Plus, a great way to get more fruit intake in. So next time you're craving a midnight snack, try going for some cherries instead of french fries. Number 4, getting a lot of light exposure during the daytime. Getting a lot of natural light exposure during the day can actually decrease your sensitivity to light at night and make it easier to fall asleep and actually stay asleep. Getting a lot of light exposure during the day can also make you feel sleepy earlier in the evening, which is what you want, so you can fall asleep easier. So go outside or just open the windows. Opening the windows cuts back on the power bill too. I hardly ever use the actual lights in my room because I have a really big window which lets in a lot of light. So some days in the summer I don't even have to use the light at all. Especially during like the week before and the week after the summer solstice. That's like prime time. So yeah, just get a ton of light exposure during the day, and like no matter how. Once again, not a doctor, so this may not work for you, but I would say give it a shot. Number 5, use the night mode or bedtime or whatever is on your phone to your advantage. So when I had a phone, I would do this and it would really help me kind of just like forget the phone exists and help me focus on other things and focus on sleep and relaxation. My mom also uses night mode on her phone, and if your phone doesn't have any sort of night mode thing, you just set it to do not disturb. Every phone has that. Just do that a few hours before going to sleep so you can forget about your phone. Really helps. Yes, this one really helps. Number 6, another one I really love is like white noise or brown noise or something similar. Some color noise. So white noise or brown noise can help you with like anxiety and really relax you, make you forget about whatever you were obsessively thinking about, so that you can let sleep come. Another tip within a tip is the Calm app. I think if you have like Amazon Prime or something, you get it free for like a whole year. I don't know, but the Calm app has like a bunch of calming noises too. That brings me to my next point. Try meditation. I used to meditate because there was like a meditation feature on my Google Home, but then it got removed and I stopped because like it became too hard to meditate, 20-second rule and all that, you know. But you can also try the meditations on the Calm app or search up some simple meditations on YouTube. Really can help you in many more ways than just sleeping. Number 7, reading. Reading helps me a lot whenever I can't sleep. Reading is just like a soothing activity. But try to read something like a personal development book or something nonfiction instead of a murder mystery novel because A, that might creep you out, and B, you won't be able to fall asleep because you're probably just gonna obsessive read it. Plus, if you don't have time during the day, you can find time to read before bed or make it a part of your night routine. And as another bonus, if you think reading is super boring, do it anyway. You'll probably fall asleep due to boredom. I just start thinking of math problems and fall asleep because I hate math. So that was all I had to say on things that promote sleep. I hope this helped you. Once again, I'm not a doctor, so all of these things might not work for you, but definitely try them out. So now I wanted to talk about sleep stages and what each sleep stage is and what it does for you. The first stage is stage 1 NREM, non-rapid eye movement sleep. This is the lightest stage of sleep and it's like a transition between awakeness and sleeping. Your brain is still fairly active. You enter the stage right after you fall asleep. This stage is super duper short and it usually lasts like a few minutes and makes about 5% of your total sleep time. It's just the period when your body and brain begin to slow down to prepare for much deeper sleep. So, and like restoration processes, all that. If someone is woken from this stage of sleep, they may feel as if they weren't really asleep and like just be kind of disoriented by that. But oh well. Next stage is stage 2 NREM sleep, which is still considered light sleep, but it's deeper than stage 1. Your breathing and heart rate are beginning to slow down, your muscles are becoming more relaxed, decrease in eye movements, and a lower core body temperature. Stage 2 NREM sleep usually lasts about 10 to 25 minutes in the first sleep cycle, but gets longer as the sleep cycles progress. You'll probably spend about 45 to 55% of your total sleep time in this stage, which is more than any other stage. After that stage, you're going to enter stage 3 NREM sleep. This is the deepest stage of NREM sleep and probably accounts for about 25% or so of your total sleep time. Babies and children need more stage 3 sleep, but as you get older, the less of the sleep you'll need. In this sleep stage, your brain waves are slow but strong. Your body takes advantage of the sleep stage to repair injuries and strengthen your immune system. The same bursts of brain activity that happen in stage 2 can also happen in stage 3, and brainwaves specific to stage 3 can moderate those bursts. Stage 3 NREM sleep is also responsible for you waking up rested, and without enough of this sleep, you may feel tired even if you slept for a long time. That's why your body automatically attempts to get as much of stage 3 sleep as possible. Number 4, REM or rapid eye movement sleep. This is the sleep stage in which most dreams occur. Its name comes from how your eyes move behind your eyelids while you're in a dream. During this sleep stage, your brain activity levels are actually very similar to when you're awake. REM sleep makes about 25% of your total sleep time, and it's probably the most important stage. The NREM sleep of your first sleep cycle is super short, about 10 minutes, but it gets to be up to an hour as your sleep cycles progress. Your body temperature also increases, and your breathing and heart rate are the same as when you are awake. Sympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for your body's fight or flight response, are twice as active in this sleep stage. Despite all this, the only muscles needed for eye movement or breathing are active. And your body hardly moves besides that. Just like how NREM sleep restores the body, scientists believe that REM sleep restores the mind by processing and clearing out useless information, and then storing the useful information from the day. REM sleep is probably the most important sleep stage, so be sure you get enough sleep every day. Okay, so that was all I had to say on sleep stages. I hope that helps you guys. Now I wanted to talk about a very interesting topic, which is how are sleep and food connected? Now, if you feel like this is going to do you more harm than good, then please forward some minutes, like to the end of the episode, because this is like my last section, I think. But yeah, so this is a somewhat messy topic. There are a lot of studies and research stating connections between food and sleep. So I'm going to focus on 2 different points in this category. How food affects sleep and the reverse, which is how sleep affects hunger and food cravings. Let's start with the first one. In basic terms, unhealthy diets, meaning diets high in saturated fat, sodium, sugar, are proven to lead to less quality and quantity of sleep, which is reasonable. When your diet is affected, it's because your diet is like the key to your health. It makes sense that your sleep gets affected negatively. And not enough healthy fats, protein, or carbs is also linked to worse sleep. Same goes for caffeine and alcohol, as both stimulate your brain, making it harder to fall asleep. High fat or high protein foods can disrupt your sleep because digestion slows by about 50% when you're asleep. So it's gonna be harder to sleep and stay asleep because your stomach is like uncomfortably full. Honestly, there isn't really enough research to prove really solidly the connection between what you eat and how that affects your sleep. But all in all, if you eat a healthy diet and get enough of all the nutrients and maintain your diet that way, your sleep will improve along with that. But if you eat an unhealthy diet with a lot of sugar and sodium and other bad stuff, then your sleep will naturally worsen with that. Diet really is the key to everything health related, as with sleep and exercise. Now let's move on to my next point. How does sleep affect your food? Well, these points are so tightly tied together that diet betters or worsens sleep, and sleep worsens or betters or worsens diet. So yeah, it's gonna be tough to explain. But in basic terms, if you don't get enough sleep, if you get good sleep, then your cravings for junk food will go down, and your digestive system will function better, and you'll be able to like stay full longer. But if you don't get enough sleep, you're more likely to experience cravings for junk food and feel even worse because of eating said junk food. Constant lack of sleep can lead to decreased production of the hormones that keep you full and satiated, which leads you to need to consume more calories, which just worsens everything. Additionally, sleep is when you burn a bunch of calories too. So if you don't get enough sleep and eat a lot of unhealthy high in calorie foods, then it's only going to worsen everything and lead to overeating and all that crap. So yeah, once again, get good sleep, have a good diet, get bad sleep and have a crap diet because of cravings. It's that simple. So that was kind of all I had to say on the connections between sleep and diet and vice versa. I hope that helps. Now I wanted to talk about something a lot of people might need to know, and that's how to tell if you're sleep deprived or running on a constant lack of sleep, or even if you're oversleeping. Basically, stuff concerning the quantity of sleep you're getting. First of all, what are some signs of sleep deprivation / getting a lack of sleep? First and most obvious thing ever, you notice that you're going to bed way too late on the nights you know you have to wake up early, or yet you're going to sleep late. And why is that? Well, I don't know. Ask yourself why that might be happening and figure it out. First thing you should do is determine whether you're sleep deprived or suffering from lack of sleep, then go from there. If you feel tired or groggy throughout the day, or often finding yourself needing a nap in the middle of the day, or even if you find yourself falling asleep when that really shouldn't be happening, like when you're watching TV or reading something or the like if you can't survive without naps in the day, that's a severely obvious sign that you need more sleep. And another thing is that naps are just going to mess up your sleep schedule even more than it already is messed up. Tiredness or grogginess is a very obvious sign that you need more sleep, and the amount of sleep you're getting right now is not good at all. So if you notice this, get more sleep or less sleep. I don't know. Quick side note: tiredness and grogginess can strangely also mean you're oversleeping. I can confidently say that based on personal experience. The day I came back from my trip to Great Wolf Lodge, I slept for 12 hours that night. That's too much sleep, and I felt half dead pretty much the whole dang day and barely got any stuff done. So track your sleep hours. If you seem to be getting over 10 to 11 hours of sleep a night, that could actually be the source of your constant lack of energy. So tracking your sleep, can help you figure out which category you fall into. Number 3, having difficulty concentrating or remembering things. If you're dealing with this stuff too, then it could also mean you're sleep deprived. Sleep is a process that is crucial to restore your brain and get rid of useless information and store the information you actually need. If you're not getting enough sleep, that means you can't process the information correctly in order to remember it. That could also be another sign you're sleep deprived. Number 4, having increased or abnormal cravings for unhealthy, calorie-dense foods. Lack of sleep can lead to an increased cravings for high calorie foods because the production of hormones that promote fullness and satiety, I think that's how you say it, is limited. When you're tired, you naturally crave more unhealthy food, which only makes the whole lack of sleep situation even worse. So if you notice this, try to avoid eating these foods as much as possible, like sheer willpower, and get more sleep. Number 5, headaches. Always wins for me. Usually if I'm experiencing a health issue such as a lack of sleep or dehydration or too much screen time or blah, 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 I get notified in the form of a very bad headache. So it happens to me often enough that I'm sort of used to it, but it's still annoying. So if you're experiencing a headache, it could be from a lack of sleep. Sleep really is the cure for everything. So that was all I had to say today on symptoms of sleep deprivation. Hope that helps. Now, to end our episode today, I have a quote for you guys from Mahatma Gandhi. And the quote goes, "Each night when I go to sleep, I die. And the next morning when I wake up, I'm reborn." Bye, guys. Rate, review, follow, and share this podcast. Drink some water, and I love you all.